Okay, if you're like me, you would want to take as much information as you can, or find as much information you can, or any product that you decide you want to buy. I like looking up and doing a lot of research on what it fits my needs. If I want to spend a lot of money or don't spend a lot of money on that type of tool. And so I decided to buy a new grinder. Now let me tell you just a little bit about the old grinder that I had. It was a small grinder, and I really didn't use it a whole lot because I don't normally use a grinder unless it's something like maybe sharpen a motor blade or sharpen a chisel, because I normally do my woodworking and I don't actually have a lot of need for a grinder, but sometimes you do. But the old grinder I had, the problem with it is that you would take a chisel or a screwdriver or something that you maybe broke, you wanted to kind of fix it up and put it back in your shelf and use it again. It would literally slow down by pressing in on it. The wheel would slow down, then you would have to pull back, wait a minute, and then until that motor would rem back up, you know, RPM back up, and then turn around and did it again, which that's quite annoying. And so I really didn't use it as much, so I would actually use a hand grinder on a lot of things. And then just stick it in a vise, and you would just take the hand grinder over it and grind it down to wherever you want it to. And that's basically what I did for years. So I was talking about buying a new grinder because now I'm starting to move up a little bit more in some of the different types of tools and stuff. So I wanted a bigger grinder, but man, I tell you what, I looked online and some of them grinders are so expensive now. If you look at what I wanted a cheap grinder for the price, but a good quality grinder, something that I can run a piece of metal in it without stopping it. And the only thing I could find at the time was a higher end grinders, and some of them grinders would go up to, you know, couple $100, $3, maybe $4. Some goes higher than that. I've seen them really high. And I kept looking and said, you know what, I don't really use the grinder that much. So I did look on Harbor Freight because I have a few Harbor Freight tools, and came across a couple of their grinders, and this was supposed to be the better grinder. Now this is a Hercules, that's what they call it, from Harbor Freight. It got 8-inch wheels on it. Well, I kept looking at it and trying to get as much information as I can online. Well, YouTube wasn't doing me too good on it because it wasn't what I was looking for. I wanted what somebody should say to me to convince me to buy this grinder. So I went on to Google and I just typed it in and just kept typing in different things. And I came up with, was a guy on there that came up with the same thing I was doing, the way I felt about buying a grinder and what I needed. And he kept talking about the same thing, how he didn't use the grinder that much, but when he did use it, he liked to have something that wasn't way too expensive, you know, would break his budget, or something that wouldn't stop when you was using a piece of metal in it. But I was really encouraged. He actually said, the Hercules, that he went out and bought that from Harbor Freight, and you know, a little bit about the grinder itself. And so I said, well, I'm just going to go out and buy it. I mean, because he really inspired me on basically what he was thinking, the same thing I was, the way I wanted that tool. So I went to Harbor Freight and bought it. But I got it like, Harbor Freight I think had something like maybe a 20% on top of what they were selling it for. So let's just put it this way, I got it under $100. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a grinder that I can put a piece of metal in that's not going to stop it, to me, what I feel about it, for under $100. And that's what I wanted. And this was really surprised with it. This is, to me, this is exactly what I was looking at. Let me tell you a little bit about the grinder. Now, it don't have much plastic on it. The only plastic is the knobs, your light right here, okay, and then the casing around here, this right here, plastic. Everything else, oh, the knobs, you know, everything else is pretty much some type of cast or metal. If I turn it this side over here, that's all metal. That's really nice. And it also has where you don't have to use a screwdriver. They take this casing off to change those wheels. You know, you can just take it off by hand. So it makes it really quick. Okay, it came with the 2 shields, everything you see. Okay, of course the shields are adjustable. They move in and out, so you can move them back and forth. Both of them does the same thing. Okay, the decks do the same thing. They move up and down, and you can also move the decks in and out like this. You just have to use an Allen wrench in the back and set that where you want to set it. Okay, it's a vertical speed 5 amp, and it also has the vertical speed goes from a 2,000 RPMs up to a 3,400 RPMs. I don't use it on low because, like I said, I normally just use it on high if I'm grinding something. So I'm using it on the 3,400 RPMs. It's got some nice big rubber feet on the bottom of it, so everything else is cast. So it's really heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got some weight here. I don't know how much it weighs. This one here, the lights, I heard somebody talk about the light. It was complaining about it. It wasn't real bright. I don't know, I didn't understand really what they were talking about, because I don't think I'd use this grinder in the dark. I mean, with this light. Maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe they didn't have any other, you know, I don't know. It just didn't make any sense how bright you would want this light when you shouldn't use it in the dark. Normally you put it in shop, and then your shop should have enough light to work on any tool. I don't think I would allow this to be the only light. But it is nice that Hercules put this on there. It moves different ways. I'll turn it around and show you the back side of it. And of course, here's your 110 cord. And this, it doesn't come out on the back. The light don't. So you basically just got to leave it on there. So you know, it just stays there. The 2 wheels are 8-inch. Both of these are 8-inch. One's a smooth, and one's a coarse. So depends on what you're sharpening over here. It's a little bit smoother, and this one here is a little rougher. We're going to call it rougher, staying coarse. And depends on what you're using for. But you can also interchange these, and they have different types of wheels, wire brushes, things like that that you can buy for your grinder. But this grinder so far, when I put a chisel into it, it keeps grinding. It doesn't stop. It fits my budget right, and it does everything I need to do. So I'm really pleased with it. I don't know how many years it would hold up, but it seems really, really well built with all the metal construction they have on it. And we're hoping we're going to have it for years to come, and get to use it pretty often, I'm hoping, because I think it's a lot easier to sharpen mower blades on this. Now, I did look at the grinder for the mower blades. You know, you can buy a regular grinder, and I didn't want to spend that's $350, $400 some dollars or something for that grinder. I wanted a grinder where, you know, I could set it up and use it for just pretty much anything I need to use it for. Okay, this is Hercules, and it is one of the Harbor Freight tools. If anybody got any questions, just leave them down below, and we'll get back with you. And thanks for watching.